Namaste to everybody. Greetings to everyone. Happy morning. Welcome to all our Heartfulness members, our new seekers, every one of us who are enthused to participate in this Heartfulness community through which this channel we are all together journeying and understanding the true principles of the Heartfulness way, very generously bestowed by the great masters, the hierarchy of the Heartfulness way, especially our living master, Revered Daji. With his simplicity and his word simple in words, he is simple in every way. With his simplicity, he is trying to bestow the knowledge on us of the ancient traditions so we understand what our ancestor gave to us. And in simple words, he is making us absorb the teachings, absorb the knowledge. With that knowledge, backed by our devotion, backed by our sadhana, which is our duty, our karma, we are able to embark on this method of Raja Yoga, going towards this ultimate goal of mergence with the ultimate. And Daji's call and his understanding for all of us is he said that there's only one single purpose in life. It is to grow in wisdom and to learn to love. So to become wise and become loving. That is the culmination of our human perfection. And from that state of human perfection, of wisdom and love, we will be able to move into the higher dimensions very easily. For that, we have been given the method of training our mind. So, mind is the most powerful instrument of the human being. And when that mind gets disturbed and not disciplined properly, we suffer through lives. So, for that, sage Patanjali called Chitta Vritti Nirodha. And this is one of Revered Daji's favorite Patanjali Sutra because he quotes about it a lot of times to all of us. But if you understand the word chitta in Sanskrit, it is not just the mind, it is about thought, heart, mind, and consciousness. So we have to discipline our thought, discipline the feelings of the heart, thereby discipline the mind, and thereby discipline the consciousness. So, when this chitta, the mind, in its totality, is in a state of discipline where it doesn't give a push to the samskaras, the sage calls these vrittis are our tendencies. They are moving like a circle, a wheel, because in nature everything is like in a circular motion, wheel like motion. And if we imagine when we were little in our olden times, young children would take the cycle tire and they will play with it. And they will give it a stick and give it momentum. And so the wheel keeps moving. So the sage Patanjali also expresses the same way, same view. He says these vrittis and tendencies are like a wheel. If the mind gives them that push and the power, the wheel keeps going. The samskaras keep going. So how to get rid of this nirodha? How do you get out of this cycle of karma tendencies is withdrawing that mind. If the mind doesn't give the push to these tendencies, the wheel falls. So if we learn Two, let go. Our masters very simply gave in the heartfulness way. Take a deep breath, let go. Ignore the thoughts. Don't give attention to the thoughts. Watch your thoughts. It is your thoughts that lead you to habits. Repeated thoughts become habits. Repeated habits, repeated actions. Repeated thoughts create actions. Repeated actions create a habit. Repeated habits become our character. And it is our character that builds our destiny. And this is what Lalaji Maharaj's call is. So, this is where we need to go to the root of watching the thoughts. And that's why they gave solutions. Be in remembrance, let go of the thought, ignore the thoughts. When we come to that habit of ignoring the thought, the beauty of it is in meditation, when we learn to ignore the thoughts, in real life, we develop this habit of ignoring unnecessary things and we don't get too involved. Our mind is trained not to give that power to the wheel of tendencies, samskaras, impressions. And so we are able to get out of this circle. So, this now let us understand in the words of Sage Patanjali, in the words of our dear master Daji, and absorb this knowledge because, in some sense, our generation is unfortunate because in ancient times they had gurukulas where children were sent at a very young age to be trained in different things. So when they came back, they were able to rule their kingdoms. What happened to Lord Rama, who went to the Gurukula to his guru? He learned all the sciences that include spirituality, training of the mind, training of um, your skills, your natural abilities, training of your natural abilities. Some were skilled in archery, some were skilled in something else. So the teachers trained them. How did they train them? By teaching them to master their mind. So that is why they were taught yogasanas. If we remember Ramayana, we know Lord Rama did yogasanas first thing in the morning. He did the Surya Namaskaras. They meditated. Thereby, they had the clarity of the thought. And with that clarity of the thought, they were able to utilize the power bestowed on them in the skills of the archery. And they learned how, if you look at Chanukya Sutras, they trained people to become good politicians. That's how our ancient Gurukulas were, where they trained people to become politicians, to rule the kingdom. Lord Rama was a politician, and he was trained for that, but with the moral values. So, when from childhood they were given, the society was a better society. That is why it's called Ramaraja, where there's peace prevailed. Everybody lived in contentment and happiness. So, our generation missed out. Modern times missed out on that. So, we have spiritual masters that are supplementing people like us with that knowledge, with the correct knowledge. And that is why Daji is so focused on the children. So, to train them from the right age to have the correct thinking, right understanding. So, let us explore on this concept of Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So, in the sage Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, it is of four parts. The first part is Samadhi Pada, which has 51 sutras. The second part is Sadhana Pada, which has 55 sutras. The third one is Vibhuti Pada, which has 56 sutras. And the fourth one is Kaivalya Pada, which has 34 sutras. Samadhi Pada, Samadhi is a state of direct and reliable perception. Perception is clear seeing, where the seer, Purusha, pure consciousness, the self abides in itself. So the seer and the seen, if the eyes are the seer, the world is the seen. And if we are blinded by things, we see things differently. We can see the rope as a snake. But if our perception moves, The seer is moved to the mind level. You are able to see little better. Now the mind is the seer, the eyes, everything else becomes the seen. But if it even goes beyond to the consciousness and even beyond to the soul level, which is pure consciousness, and from that state, when the self is abiding in that state, that with pure perception, it is able to perceive the reality as is, that it is divine and everything around is divine, and that is the state of samadhi. And in sadhana pada, it is about practice, discipline, aiming to arrive at this state of clear perception, wisdom, as Daji talks about, discernment, and the state of love. So, this part of the Kriya Yoga has the first five limbs of Ashtanga Yoga, which is Yama, Niyama, Pranayama, Asana, and Pratyahara. And in Vibhuti Pada consists of three limbs, the last three limbs of Ashtanga Yoga, which is Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi, concentration, meditation, and absorption, the Samadhi. And the last is Kaivalya Pada, which is leading to moksha, which is liberation. So Kaivalya Pada is using this Ashtanga Yoga, the 8 steps of yoga, as a lifestyle to arrive at absolute state of balance, which is liberation. So the sages gave a way of life. It was God realization is a part of it, but they taught human beings how to live life. So in this Samadhi Pada, Samadhi is a state of direct and reliable perception, clear perception, where the seer, Purusha, the pure consciousness, the self abides in itself. So the interaction between the seer and the seen in its purity is darshana. And this darshana is simply a choiceless awareness of the totality of what it is. You are in an awareness, a state of awareness, where you are making no choices. It is what it is. So in this sutra, Chitta Vritti Nirodha, sage Patanjali says, yoga is Chitta Vritti Nirodha, a state of being in which the ideational choice making movement comes to a standstill. The mind is silenced. That is why in heartfulness we meditate, because in meditation is when the mind, the thinking mind, moves to a state of feeling heart, feeling its own self, and comes to a state of stillness and silence. And this is arrived only through meditation with pranahuti from the living guide. So let's explore and understand this Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Vrittis. Samskaras, impressions, vrittis, tendencies are like a wheel. And it is our individual mind that keeps this wheel going, because our mind is what it's giving power to it. That is why Babuji is called ignore the thoughts. Because as you go into the higher dimensions, as you progress, all of a sudden you're wondering, where did this thought come from? And you're worried, oh my God, I'm falling. No, just know that this thought is leaving. Ignore it, let go, move forward. So the individual mind is affected by continuously involving in the external manifestation of this illusion, this world, as it keeps absorbing the vibrations from the earthly plane. Our mind getting involved in the external world with intensity is absorbing its vibrations. The more we involve and allow ourselves to be entangled and disturbed, the more we give the wheel of Vritti's momentum. That in turn gives karma the momentum, and we are in a circle and we cannot get out of it, like being in a whirlpool. So, in heartfulness, our entire training is about turning our mind inward and allowing it to rest in the silence and giving it the nature of the silence itself. And this is what neuroplasticity also teaches us about. Your mind, you wherever you put it, it absorbs it. So that's why children absorb so much until the age of 5. So if we put our mind in silence, it absorbs the nature of the silence, and it becomes silent. So gradually, this individual mind arrives at different states of being. By mastering each knot, as each knot is unknotted, the mind starts arriving at its original pure state. So, as we meditate, as our mind gets absorbed in each knot, masters the journey of that knot, it arrives at purity to that extent. How does it happen? In the beginning of the journey, we arrive at balance by transcending dualities at point one, which is the earth point. And then we start to experience peace by mastering point two. And point one and two are the base for this journey. Without mastering these two, like your foundation of the house is not good, at some point it has cracks. So mastering these two is very, very important. And at point three, we are able to let go of the weakness of having opinions. We have to let go of choice of opinions. And then we develop emotional stability as we master this point three. And at point four, which is the water point, we are able to let go of the power of choice. This is what Sage Patanjali calls it as choiceless awareness happens. The mind has to let go of the power of choice. So the mind has to be balanced, mind has to become peaceful, and it has to become emotionally stable by letting go of the power of opinion, and it has to come to a choiceless awareness by letting go of choice making itself. So the choice making ability of the mind is what develops the humility in us. And as we move to the point five, as a result of mastering this, we arrive at a state of pure discrimination, wisdom, and pure seeing, clarity. That is when the seer is abiding in the divine consciousness and is able to have this pure clarity in seeing, wisdom, discrimination. And this is the journey that we need to master thoroughly. So, Revered Daji always talked about cheerful acceptance. See, the entire concept of Chitta Vritti Nirodha is cheerful acceptance. And our great master, living master, has simplified it for us. We were all breaking our heads, what is the Chitta Vritti Nirodha? And we never even went to study the Yoga Sutras. Being born in the land of India, having so much knowledge, we didn't understand it. And here comes a great master to simplify things for us. He just says cheerful acceptance because we understand the concept of that. So, what is cheerful acceptance? It is a state of surrender when we accept and when we let go of our choice making capacity. It is then that a true state of surrender and humility begin to flower in us. And that happens at the fourth point, water point. And the mind needs to come to stillness with meditation. That is why Daji always said, from thinking we move to feeling. Because only through feeling you will merge with the ultimate, the feeling of love, worship. So, born out of meditation, such a mind is devoid of darkness, light, and luminosity. As the mind starts to meditate, as we meditate the right way, all this is gone because that is why our sages said, Neti, Neti, Neti. And that's what our masters are training, let go, not this, not this, let go of it. Ignore the thoughts. It has no effect on the vrittis. Now the individual mind is said to have arrived at a new state, which sage Patanjali calls as Dhyanaja Chitta, a meditative mind. And that is the state of witness. And Revered Daji repeatedly insists that we practice cheerful acceptance. It is a key quality that helps us develop all the other qualities needed to arrive at where our guides are taking us to meditative mind, Dhyanaja Chitta. So cheerful acceptance is the beginning. That is why when you connect yourself to a guru, he says, test him, and then once you accept, surrender. This state of surrender is whatever is happening, I accept at this moment. And then this action of the wheel, the effect of vrittis, can be understood very well by studying the action of a wheel. When a wheel is not given any push, when no force is applied for it to move, it will fall to the ground. It will no longer have any momentum. So, also, when our mind does not give momentum to the vrittis and is in a state of cheerful acceptance, the wheel of the vrittis falls off and we get out of this cycle of the karma and move towards kaivalya, which is liberation. So, in the same way, samskaras or vrittis fall apart when the individual mind does not support them. And that is how we design our destiny, which is what revered Daji's call is design your own destiny. If choice making is negated, vrittis slow down and stop. And this is what is given to us in Sajmar. People may ask, so we don't perform action? We do perform action. But we listen to the resonation of the heart and act. And when you are able to, not with the mind, but are able to respond to the heart and perform, it becomes duty. So, this concept of Chitta Vritti Nirodha, understanding further, Shandilya Bhakti Sutras say, Atah evam palannatyam. The rewards of devotion is infinite. So, it is with devotion, because of devotion, you are able to come to the state of cheerful acceptance and choicelessness. So, spiritual rewards for bhakti are profound and infinite. When true bhakti, devotion, dawns in the mental horizon, knowledge fades away. So, when meditative mind starts to have the clarity and it recognizes and is able to perceive the self, then true devotion manifests in the heart, and that devotion becomes a potent force, ascending force for us to move further. So, vrittis are like a wheel, and choice making ability of the mind gives the vrittis a push. With vrittis slow down and stop when we come to that state of choicelessness. When the negation of choice making happens, the individual mind, which is now balanced and is in a witness state, and it is also devoid of light, darkness, and luminosity, and it has now arrived at a new state known as dhyana chitta, which is the mind born out of meditation. So a new you is born out of right meditation. The persistence of practice is when the seer, who has the awareness of pure seeing, truly comes to a state of vairagya, which is disentanglement, discrimination, clarity. So, true union is in which a choice making mind comes to a standstill and remains in a choiceless awareness of it is what it is. That is the true state of beginning of surrender. It is the beginning of surrender. So it is in surrender that leads to intimacy and union, and that is true yoga, because yoga is all about union. The life changing statement is this choiceless awareness. The interaction between the seer and the seen gives birth to vision, clear vision, pure seeing, and which is known as darshana. We in temple worship, people go, oh, I'm going to go have the darshan of the Lord. I am going to go have darshan of my guru. In reality, that true darshana is when there is witnesshood, clarity, pure seeing. You are able to perceive the divinity in the guru, in the idol, in the temple, and everywhere. So, yoga or darshana is Chitta Vritti Nirodha. This state comes into being as a result of man's exercising his innate freedom in the direction of not choosing. We have the free will to choose. But when we use that free will to not to choose, that is when this true darshana happens. So there is no egocentric control, no suppression or repression of the thoughts, or any kind of effort involved in this act of non choosing. So that's why Daji says, loosen your efforts. Don't make too much efforts. Be in that state. It is just a matter of exercising freedom in the right direction. So instead of the mind, if we are able to be in tune with the heart, the action is in the right direction. And of letting the existential situation reveal what it may under the fiery gaze of pure perception. Yoga or darshana is the extraordinary state of being in which the choice making movement of the mind comes to a standstill and one remains in a state of choiceless awareness of what is. And the act of not choosing is to take the first and final step towards Kaivalya liberation. So, to be in a state of free inquiry is to be in a state of choiceless awareness, which is the beginning of yoga or meditation. And that is a childlike state or like a baby bird waiting for the mother to feed. That is our state in the meditation, which is true surrender. You are helpless. You are a baby. You can't even move forward until your mother feeds you. And here, what is the function of the living guide? The beauty of the guide's way of working is that when he starts to speak about the concept itself, the Chitta Vritti Nirodha, Chitta, the mind, Vritti, the impressions, Nirodha, blockages, he has already planted the seed in us to understand what it means. This is what Revered Daji did from day one. He started with cheerful acceptance, and we were able to understand that concept. And then he says, now move to the witnesshood, and which happens at point 4 for everybody. So he's planting those seeds in us. And with meditation, when we become clearer and clearer, we allow those seeds to flower into conditions. The living guide triggers this spiritual condition in each one of us, and our conditions evolve. When our mind centers in a standstill condition, we become a witness. We remain in choiceless awareness. And then true union, yoga, manifests in us. And it all starts with the simple act of meditating every day, perseverance. And to arrive at this state of meditative mind requires the help of a living guide. Transmission from the living guide affects the mind that is going outward and gradually pulls it inward. So all our thoughts are flowing at the chit lake and they are flowing out into the external world. And that is what the master does with his transmission and the willpower. He diverts the water flow, the waterfall from the chit lake, powerful force, towards the soul. So now we come to the consciousness of the soul, awareness of the soul. And we need to support this with remembrance, constant remembrance. So our mind is thought is not continuously going outward. To divert the mind from the outside to inside is known as pratyahara. So the beginning of pratyahara happens with the help of the living guide, because pratyahara is not easy. If pratyahara was easy, medical field wouldn't be making so much money. Where people they can't stop their thoughts, so they have to take medicine. So pratyahara is possible only with the help of transmission from the living guru, a capable guru. It is not easy and can take eternity for some people. Why eternity for some people? We have the example of Duryodhana, who cried that I know what is right, but I'm unable to do it. I know what is wrong. I'm unable to not commit myself, not to do that. It's a cry for maternity, pratyahara. If he had surrendered, probably Lord Krishna would have just diverted his thought, but the ego stopped him. Development of pratyahara and molding of character have a symbiotic relationship. They're the same. For one step that we take inwards, resting our mind in godly silence, our living guide, Revered Daji, takes hundreds and thousands of steps towards us to deepen that state. The more we develop pratyahara, the more easily we are able to mold our character. Because Revered Lalaji Maharaj's call is character formation. Without character formation, you cannot have this mergence. And without mastering the heart region, there is no character formation. The more we cooperate with our molding and behavior, the more we are open to the transmission, the more we attract grace and we are able to go deep inwards. So we arrive at this state of viveka or discrimination. discerning intelligence, pure seeing, when we are able to master the heart region, when we arrive at this, when we master the fifth point indirectly. And according to Srimad Bhagavatam, Chitta refers to heart, thoughts, mind, and consciousness. So when they say Chitta Vritti Nirodha, this includes all four. Everything has to be diverted, connected towards the source, towards the condition, consciousness of the guide. And then the mind becomes dhyanaja chitta, meditative mind. So, heart, thought, mind, and consciousness, through the act of meditation, they give birth to a meditative mind known as dhyanaja chitta, which has that discerning intelligence, pure seeing, viveka, discrimination, and pure perception. Out of such a purified mind, meditative mind, dhyanaja chitta, the critical and sharply discerning intelligence, viveka, comes into being. And sometimes when we see our own children, they lack that wisdom. That is why Revered Daji keeps saying, as we age, we realize and we become better at it. We make more efforts to arrive at this state of viveka. And we are able to perceive that, oh, I wish I had done a better job on my children. At least now let me help my grandchildren. So it is this viveka that can distinguish and discriminate. What does viveka give us? It gives us discrimination, the ability to discriminate between the right and wrong, eternal and ephemeral, pure and impure, happiness and sorrow. Because of such deep, such clear perception that never allows any scope for confusion, this newly born intelligence, the newly born viveka, destroys the vision born out of avidya, ignorance. We've been ignorant beings. With meditation, when this intelligence is, real intelligence is born, the dhyanaja chitta is born, then we have that clear perception and we won't let ignorance come into being. The ignorance, the darkness is gone. Now the light is shining. Clarity of vision now continuously illuminates the existential scene. Now, because of this clear vision, the light is turned on the path. So you're able to clearly see, you know what to do, what not to do. So, clarity of vision now continuously illuminates the existential scene without a relapse into this avidya kyati, that is ignorance. So, because of this illumination, you don't make mistakes. So, what is the efficacy of this meditative mind, the dhyanaja chitta? We need to live life correctly. The predominant idea today is that life must be enjoyed, and anything short of that is a wasted life. However, if time is utilized correctly and wisely to arrive at the state of the meditative mind, where the individual mind is reborn out of meditation, where we are able to stop supporting the vrittis and the impressions, we experience the beauty of jumping to a different dimension. So we will have the true spirit of celebration when we arrive at this meditative mind. Persistence in practice helps the seeker to truly come to the state of disentanglement, detachment, pure seeing, vairagya, and viveka. If there is one thing that revered Babaji Maharaj really loves, that he talks about in whispers, two words: persistence, love. Persistence, love. So, only persistence in practice is what's going to bring our mind to this beautiful state of dhyanaja chitta and state of being as a prayer. Once we master the heart region, the journey of the mind region feels lighter as we have already submitted ourselves like a baby in the lap of the mother. That state of surrender, like the baby bird. Our state of being becomes a prayer. Because what is prayer? A cry from the heart. A baby that doesn't know anything, when it is hungry, it cries, and the mother loves it. Mother feeds it. So that becomes our state. And the mother's, the baby smiles when it sees the mother. So also when we see the Lord, the joy is there. So we are arriving at this state of prayer is becoming like a baby, state of being of a witness. The mind that has arrived at such a state of being, a witness, that has clear discrimination, it is then able to sing, Lord, you are everything, I am nothing. Because now you are able to see things clearly. You know what is right, what is wrong, what is real, what is not real. So your heart says, you are everything, I am nothing. I am just grateful that I am walking on this path where I only look at you. So let us all rethink, introspect, and see where we are headed in our journey. Let us have clear understanding of this journey, and let us, with persistent, with dedication, practice, so we can make our mind the perfect instrument, arriving at this state of dhyanaja chitta, meditative mind, and that is able to help us not give the push to the mind, the wheel of samskaras, the wheel of karma. So we journey into that liberated state where we have that state of mind. It's not that when you are liberated, you're going to die. You are liberated from the heaviness. You are liberated from the darkness. Your state of being is as a child, joyful clarity, and the true celebration of life then begins. Truth can be perceived only through meditation. So, yoga or meditation is a basic discipline. It's prerequisite to mystical spiritual experience of truth. So, without meditation, you cannot experience the truth of life itself. So, that is our presentation for today. Let us all now meditate. Close your eyes softly. Take a deep breath and let go. Feel grounded to the earth. Feel the healing energy from Mother Earth enter into your being. And begin with relaxing your toes. Feel the energy flow into your feet, ankles, and your legs. Be aware of your legs. Relax your legs. Take another deep breath and let go. Feel the energy flow into your knees, into your thighs, into your hips. Feel firmly grounded in the seat. Feel the free flow of energy flowing there, relaxing you. Take another deep breath and let go. Feel the energy flow into your lower back and into your upper back. Relax your entire back. Keeping your spine erect, bring your awareness to your stomach muscles. Feel the energy flow there. Take a deep breath and let go gently. Feel the energy flow into your chest. Relax your chest. Bring your awareness to your fingers. Feeling the energy, relax your fingers, palm, wrists, lower arms, elbows, and upper arms. Feel the free flow of energy flowing in your hands, relaxing your hands. Take another deep breath and let go. Your hands are completely relaxed. Bring your awareness to your shoulders. Feel the stress melting away. Relax your shoulders. Consciously relax your neck, jaws, tongue. Relax your facial muscles. Deeply relax your eyes, eyebrows, temples, and forehead. Feel your brain is resting. Your mind is calm. Your body is completely relaxed. Bring your awareness to your heart. Feel your heart. Enter your sacred space. Bring yourself to a state of humbleness in prayer. Where the heart beats. Remind yourself with the intention. The source of light is present within you. The light from the source is illuminating your entire being. Your mind is drawn to this light. Your mind is resting in the light. The ocean of light, the ocean of love is in you. You are a drop submerged in this ocean. Rest in the light with utmost reverence. Let's meditate. That's all. Feel the calmness spread throughout your being. From this place of calmness, make the intention. All my senses are in a state of balance. They have arrived at their original character. All my feelings are in silence. All the chakras in my system are in a state of balance. They are in harmony with each other. Every cell in my being is imbued with the feeling of love and gratitude. Every cell in my being is absorbing the silence. Feel the calmness spread throughout your being. You may open your eyes when you are ready. Thank you all for joining the session today, joining the meditation today. Have a beautiful day, and we will see you all later. Thank you.